The transmission crackled across the command deck, the voice of the old Zython elder trembling with urgency. "Zorath, listen to me. Do not attack the humans. They are not like the others. They do not surrender. They do not forget. They will hunt you across the stars." Zoratha's mandibles twitched in amusement. Fear from an elder? Pathetic. Look at their world, divided, weak, still bound to their planet. They will break like all the others. The fleet descended upon Earth, plasma lances carving through cities, orbital bombardments turning fortresses to ash. The humans' militaries crumbled under superior firepower. Initial reports flooded in. Victory was certain. But something was wrong. No distress signals. No pleas for mercy. Just silence. Then the first patrols went missing. Not in battle. Vanished. No wreckage, no bodies. Just gone. Then the next. And the next. Zorath reviewed the footage. A human, unarmed, bleeding from 3 plasma burns, dragging an injured comrade away, then turning back to smash a soldier's skull with a rock. Another clip, a human child, barely tall enough to reach a warrior's waist, biting through an energy cuff before lunging at the nearest alien with a shard of glass. The reports grew worse. Humans were adapting, using their own weapons against them. A supply depot exploded, not from an airstrike, but sabotage. A dropship crashed, its navigation systems hacked mid-flight. One of Zoratha's lieutenants whispered, "They don't stop. Ever." Then came the broadcast. Not from their leaders. Not from their governments. Just a single human, face streaked with blood and soot, staring into the camera. "You should have listened." The screen cut to black. Zoratha's claws tightened around the railing. For the first time, he wondered if the old fool had been right. The humans didn't beg. They didn't negotiate. They learned. Zoratha's forces held orbital superiority, but the surface had become a graveyard. Patrols sent to secure human cities never returned. Supply lines were cut, communication relays sabotaged. The invaders controlled the sky, but the ground belonged to something far more dangerous. Then the first alien weapon turned against its masters. A plasma rifle, jury-rigged by human hands, tore through a squad of elite warriors. A captured dropship, reprogrammed mid-flight, slammed into a command outpost. The humans weren't just resisting, they were iterating. Every piece of tech seized, every corpse studied, every mistake exploited. Zoratha's tactical display flickered with red markers, not just military targets. Factories. Power grids. Shipyards. The humans weren't just fighting. They were rebuilding. And they were building for war. Then came the broadcast. Not a plea. A declaration. A human voice, calm, deliberate, speaking in their language. Asterisk. You came to our world uninvited. You killed our people. You thought we would break. Asterisk. The screen split, showing human scientists dissecting alien tech, engineers welding scavenged armor onto tanks, soldiers training with stolen weapons. Asterisk. We don't break. We adapt. Asterisk. The transmission ended with coordinates, a live feed of a hidden alien outpost, now overrun by human forces. The last image was a Zython warrior's helmet, cracked open, placed on a pike. Zoratha's second-in-command hissed in disbelief. "They're mocking us." The reports grew worse. Human ships, crude, patchwork, but functional, had breached the blockade. Not to flee. To hunt. A distress call shrieked across the comms. A supply convoy, ambushed in deep space. The attackers? Humans in retrofitted mining vessels, ramming their way through hulls with no regard for survival. Zorath stared at the star map. The red dots weren't just spreading across Earth. They were reaching outward, toward his worlds. The Elder's warning echoed in his skull. They will never let you go. The war was supposed to be over. Zoratha's fleet had withdrawn from Earth, licking its wounds, regrouping at the edge of the system. A tactical retreat, not a defeat. The humans had proven more resilient than expected, but they were still bound to their pitiful planet. Let them rot in the ruins of their cities. Then the alarms screamed. Human ships, dozens of them, pouring out of the gravity well. Not the jury-rigged monstrosities they'd seen before. Sleek. Deadly. Built for war. Zoratha's tactical officer recoiled from the display. Their acceleration curves, they're using our drive signatures. The humans hadn't just stolen technology. They'd perfected it. First contact was a massacre. The lead alien cruiser shattered under a barrage of plasma fire, its shields collapsing in seconds. The humans didn't broadcast demands. Didn't offer terms. They simply advanced, silent and relentless, cutting through the fleet like a blade through flesh. Planetside, the nightmare deepened. Human strike teams materialized on colony worlds, hitting soft targets with surgical precision. They left no survivors, only messages. On one world, the corpses of an entire garrison were arranged in perfect formation, their armor stripped away, their flesh carved with human script. We remember. Zoratha's communications array lit up with panicked transmissions from across the sector. Mining outposts gone dark. Supply depots vaporized. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were erasing the invasion footprint by footprint, world by world. A junior officer dared to voice the unthinkable. "Sir, they're hunting us." The bridge fell silent. On the main viewer, the human fleet continued its advance. No fanfare. No grand speeches. Just the cold, methodical approach of predators who had finally scented blood. Zoratha's claws dug into the command console. This wasn't war anymore. It was extermination. The last stronghold burned. Zoratha's command ship drifted in the wreckage of his fleet, its hull breached in a dozen places, atmosphere bleeding into the void. The humans hadn't even bothered to board. They'd simply disabled the engines, shredded the weapons arrays, and left them to die slowly, like they wanted the galaxy to watch. The comms crackled to life one final time. Not a demand for surrender. Not a gloating victory speech. Just 3 words in that terrible, flat human tone. Asterisk, transmission incoming. Observe. Asterisk. The main screen flickered to life, showing 1,000 different feeds across 100 conquered worlds. Alien cities in flames. Defense platforms torn apart. The last remnants of Zoratha's species rounded up and executed with mechanical efficiency. Then the perspective shifted, humans standing victorious on alien soil, their weapons silent at last. No cheering. No celebration. Just cold, dead eyes staring into the cameras as they methodically erased an entire civilization from existence. Zoratha's second-in-command let out a broken hiss. They're making an example of us. The transmission cut to black. Then new coordinates appeared, a star map tracing the invasion's path back to the Zython homeworld. The message beneath it was simple. Coming soon. Alarms wailed as the human fleet powered weapons. Zoratha's claws twitched toward the self-destruct, better to die now than let them. The screen lit up one final time. A human face, scarred and battle-hardened, stared directly at him. "No," the human said softly. "You don't get to choose how this ends." The last thing Zorath saw was the flash of railgun fire before his world turned to fire and silence. Somewhere in the dark between stars, the warning still echoed, unheard by new empires rising in the ashes. Never attack the humans. They will never let you go. The silence was worse than the screams. Across 12 star systems, the remnants of the once proud invasion force huddled in the ruins of their own making. No orders came. No reinforcements. Just the endless, suffocating quiet between the stars, and the knowledge that somewhere in that darkness, the humans were coming. They'd stopped broadcasting warnings. Stopped transmitting demands. The only communications now were the occasional, clipped reports from scout ships, always cut off mid-sentence. Always followed by static. On what remained of the forward command station, the surviving officers gathered in what was once a war room. Now it was just a tomb waiting to be sealed. Tactical displays showed the same impossible truth, human ships appearing where they shouldn't be able to reach, striking with precision that defied logic. Their technology had evolved beyond recognition in mere months. A junior officer broke first. "We should surrender." "Beg for." The senior commander backhanded him across the mandibles. "To what? To whom? They don't take prisoners. Haven't you seen the footage?" They all had. The humans didn't bother with prisoner camps. Just mass graves and burning wrecks. The comm panel lit up. Not an incoming transmission, an outgoing one. Someone, somewhere on the station, was hailing the humans. Panic erupted. Security teams scrambled through corridors, but they were too late. The channel was open. A single human face appeared on every screen aboard the station. No words. Just a slow, deliberate shake of the head. Then the station's external cameras activated, showing 3 human warships drifting into position. Not attacking. Not yet. Just waiting. The senior commander reached for his sidearm. His second grabbed his wrist. Don't. They'll make it worse. How could it possibly? The lights died. Life support stuttered. The humans weren't firing. They were just letting the station die. Slowly. Giving them time to think. To remember. To regret. Somewhere in the dark, a Zython warrior began to laugh, a broken, hysterical sound that echoed through the corridors. The humans had won. And they weren't just killing their enemies. They were making sure the galaxy never forgot why you didn't provoke them. The last system alerts flared across dead consoles as oxygen levels plummeted. Somewhere beyond the dying station, the human fleet turned toward the next target. The lesson would continue. The first refugee ships emerged from jump space with their hulls scorched and reactors failing. They carried no soldiers, no weapons, just the last civilians fleeing worlds that no longer existed. Their transmissions bled across the galactic networks, grainy and distorted with panic. They're not following the rules of war. They're targeting evacuation routes. They're herding us like animals. The images showed human warships moving with terrifying patience, systematically dismantling every escape route. Not with orbital bombardments or mass drivers, but with precision strikes that left infrastructure intact while eliminating all resistance. They weren't just conquering. They were preserving the battlefields, turning them into monuments to their vengeance. On the Council worlds, the remaining powers watched in silence. Emergency sessions dissolved into shouting matches. Some advocated immediate surrender. Others demanded total war. None dared say what everyone knew: the humans had already won. This wasn't about territory or resources anymore. It was about sending a message that would echo through history. A Zython historian accessed the last transmission from the front lines before the comms went dark. Not a distress call. Not a final stand. Just a single warrior's shaky breath as he recorded his last words. Asterisk, we thought they would break. We were wrong. They broke asterisk us asterisk instead. Asterisk. The recording cut to static. Meanwhile, human ships appeared at the edge of neutral systems. They didn't attack. Didn't demand tribute. They simply broadcast a single looped message across all frequencies, a montage of every world they'd reclaimed, every enemy stronghold reduced to ash, every last Zython warship torn apart in the void. The message ended with a simple question in perfect Zython. Asterisk, who's next? Asterisk. The transmission repeated every 6 hours. No one answered. No one dared. The Galactic Armada assembled at the edge of human-controlled space represented the last hope of civilized species. 300 warships from 17 empires, their combined firepower capable of glassing entire systems. The Admiral's flagship broadcast its ultimatum across all frequencies. Asterisk, stand down or face annihilation. Asterisk. Human space remained silent. For 3 solar cycles, the Armada waited. Scouts reported no activity in the contested zone. No defensive formations. No minefields. Just empty space and abandoned outposts. Then the first human ship appeared. A single, unarmed vessel drifted toward the Armada's perimeter. Its hull bore no weapons, only scars from countless battles. When it reached optimal broadcast range, it transmitted a single data packet before self-destructing in a flash of white light. The file contained coordinates. Not star charts. Not tactical positions. Graves. Thousands of them. On hundreds of worlds. Each marked with the same symbol, a human numeral followed by a list of names. The footage zoomed in on one at random. Asterisk, Site 719 to 84,302 souls. Asterisk, the camera panned to show endless rows of identical markers stretching to the horizon. Another file activated automatically. Security footage from a Zython prison camp, dated during the initial invasion. Humans being processed, sorted, executed. The timestamp showed the massacre lasted 17 solar cycles without pause. The final image was a human child's drawing recovered from the ruins of Earth. Stick figures holding hands beneath a smiling sun. Scrawled in clumsy letters at the bottom, asterisk, why did they hurt us? Asterisk. The Armada's communications exploded with panic. Some captains demanded immediate attack. Others called for retreat. The debate ended when every ship simultaneously lost propulsion control. A new voice cut through the chaos, calm, measured, and utterly terrifying. Asterisk. You came to witness justice. Now you will bear witness. Asterisk. Every view screen in the fleet activated at once, showing the same real-time feed from the human homeworld. Reconstruction efforts. Children playing in the shadows of ruined cities. Survivors rebuilding atop the bones of billions. The transmission cut to black. When the screens reactivated, they displayed a single sentence in 17 languages. Asterisk. We remember so you never forget. Asterisk. The alien armada found their systems restored moments later. Their weapons remained operational. Their engines responded perfectly. Not a single ship opened fire. One by one, they turned and jumped away, carrying the warning deeper into the galaxy than any human ship could reach. The lesson had been delivered. The war was over. Humanity stood watch. A century passed. The galactic records called it the Great Silence. No species dared approach human-controlled space. Trade routes curved around their borders. Scouts who ventured too close never returned. The once proud Zython Empire existed only in history texts, their homeworld a glassed monument, their language preserved solely in human museums as a cautionary exhibit. Then the first delegation arrived. Their ship was small, unarmed, broadcasting surrender codes on every frequency. They waited 17 cycles at the border before receiving coordinates to a neutral system. The humans met them in a simple station orbiting a dead world. No guards, no weapons, just 12 men and women in plain uniforms, their faces bearing scars no medical science could erase. The alien ambassador trembled as he presented his case, a plea for reconciliation, for a future where their species might coexist. His speech lasted hours. The humans listened in silence. When he finished, the eldest human stood. "You misunderstand," she said. "This isn't negotiation." A hologram activated between them, a star map with thousands of markers. "These are mass graves." Another gesture. The markers multiplied. "These are species that stood with the Zython." Another. The galaxy filled with light. "These are the borders we will never cross." The map zoomed out, showing a perfect sphere of untouched space surrounding human territory. Not out of weakness, out of mercy. She leaned forward, her eyes holding generations of grief. "Go home. Tell your people what you saw here today. Tell them humanity remembers every name, every world, every life." The delegation left without another word. As their ship jumped away, the station's comm officer turned to her commander. "Think they'll listen this time?" The commander watched the stars, her face unreadable. "Doesn't matter. We'll still be here." Outside, the dead world turned silently in its orbit, a tombstone for an empire, a warning to the galaxy. Humanity stood vigil. The watch never ended. The transmissions began exactly at midnight, Galactic Standard Time. Every civilized world received them simultaneously, no encryption, no blocking possible. The signal burned through every frequency, overriding all communications. The message opened with a child's voice. Asterisk, "My name is Li Wei. I was 7 years old when the bombs fell on Beijing." Asterisk. The screen showed archival footage, not of war, not of destruction, but of ordinary life before the invasion. A marketplace. A schoolyard. A family eating dinner. Then the impact. The screams. The dark. The voice continued, now an old man's. Asterisk, "I survived. I remember." Asterisk. One by one, others spoke. Names. Ages. Cities. Asterisk, Maria Gonzalez, Madrid, 12 years old. Asterisk. Asterisk, Jakub Nowak, Warsaw, 4 years old. Asterisk. Asterisk, Amani Okoye, Lagos, 6 years old. Asterisk. The list went on for hours. On the Galactic Senate floor, delegates stood frozen as the death toll climbed into the billions. No speeches. No context. Just names and numbers scrolling endlessly across every screen in the known universe. Then, silence. A new image appeared. The ruins of Earth, as they were now. Rebuilt, but scarred. Towering monuments of black stone etched with names that stretched into the sky. A single human in simple robes stood before the camera. Asterisk, we do not forget. We do not forgive. But we will not come for you. Asterisk. A star map flashed, human space marked in red, the rest of the galaxy untouched. Asterisk. This is our covenant. Cross the line, and there will be no warning. No negotiation. Only extinction. Asterisk. The transmission ended. Across 1,000 worlds, governments collapsed. Panic erupted. Some species began dismantling their militaries on the spot. Others launched probes to verify the borders, terrified of straying 1 kilometer too close. On Earth, the old man who had been 7-year-old Li Wei stood before the monument of names, his hand resting on the cold stone. Behind him, a child asked, asterisk, Grandfather, will they ever come back? Asterisk. He didn't turn around. No, he said. Asterisk. They learned their lesson. Asterisk. Above them, the stars burned cold and silent. Humanity watched. And the galaxy remembered.